The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, a Good Omens multi-voice podfic written by Waywarder and read by
SkyAsimaru
and Djapchan. Chapter 8, Homo Sapiens. Well, it's been building up inside of me for I don't know how long. I don't know why, but I keep thinking something's bound to go wrong.
Do you know what I find the saddest about Romeo and Juliet?
Aziraphale suddenly asked, hand twitching slightly on the fork in his grasp. Crowley nearly choked on his coffee at the conversational pivot.
All the teenage suicide?
Wait, what? How did we get here? How dare I rocket us ahead past dessert and straight into the delicate aftermath of crumbs and awkwardness? Okay, here's what you missed. As instructed, Aziraphale and Crowley exited through the aquarium's gift shop, holding hands and grinning like idiots. Crowley's free hand twitched in his pocket, sorely tempted to purchase each and every stuffed animal in the shop for Aziraphale. Look, he was adorable, and he deserved a fluffy sea otter friend, okay? Okay. They stood together in the cool night air, neither of them close to done.
Dessert?
Aziraphale needed to confirm.
Dessert.
Crowley squeezed Aziraphale's hand. The getting to dessert logistics weren't particularly interesting, to tell you the honest truth, so trust me that they got there. And that Crowley ordered a coffee, determined to never waste any iota of time on sleep now that Aziraphale was in his world, and that Aziraphale ordered some lovely midnight cake situation, determined to absorb every wonderful feeling and taste and texture he could on what was rapidly turning out to be one of the better nights of his life. And they talked. Of course they did. They talked more about the aquarium and the animals they had seen. They talked about Crowley's catering job and how lately he was feeling a little too old and cranky to still be in that line of work. Aziraphale, of course, assured him otherwise.
What would you like to be doing instead?
I used to be an all-right gardener.
Crowley admitted, clinking a spoon against his mug.
Maybe you figured it out, Angel. Working with living creatures that aren't human.
They talked for a while about other things each one of them used to do. Isn't that a strange melancholy on the first date when you're a bit older? Introducing yourself to someone new means recounting all your past lives. Each one you willingly forfeited, as well as each one from which you were ejected before you thought your time was up. Aziraphale scraped up the remaining chocolate smears from his plate, and Crowley requested a refill on coffee. And it was getting late, and maybe they were running out of interesting, fabulous things to say, so...
Well, yes, of course.
Aziraphale smiled a little shyly.
But do you know what else makes me sad about Romeo and Juliet?
Tell me.
How is it, my soul? Let us talk. 'Tis not day.
And Aziraphale did look sad as he recited the line. And Crowley wanted to reach across the dinner table and take this strange man's hand in his. And she realized he probably could. So, you know what? He fucking did.
Why does that make you sad, Aziraphale?
That's the tragedy, isn't it?
Aziraphale's eyes were looking down now at their joined hands.
They never got to talk, did they?
Are you all right, Aziraphale?
I suppose I'm worried of running out of things to say.
Aziraphale answered, finally lifting his gaze to Crowley's.
And that feels like a selfish worry to me, because I've already had the chance to say so many things to you.
Crowley began to rub circles with his thumb into the flesh of Aziraphale's hand.
And I'm worried that this day has been something out of a strange and wonderful dream. But maybe I've only a day's worth of strange and wonderful things to say.
Crowley fought the urge to snort in disbelief, correctly assuming it wouldn't be a terribly smooth move in this context.
Aziraphale, I refuse to believe you've only a day's worth of strange and wonderful stored in you.
Aziraphale laughed at that, a halting, nervous thing. He leaned forward and brought Crowley's hand to his lips, pressing a soft, wobbly kiss there.
What if I'm rubbish without water around?
Oh.
Crowley leaned forward himself now, as a rather fabulous idea took root in his head.
That I can do something about.
It was probably close to midnight when they made it to Crowley's apartment complex. Again, the logistics were pretty boring, so forgive me for skipping them. They did leave an excellent tip at the diner, though.
Will this do?
Crowley gestured through the silent apartment gate.
Crowley, won't we get in trouble?
Nah, nobody checks.
Crowley assured Aziraphale as he pushed through the gate as quietly as he could.
Besides, this is just until we get our dating land legs. Land legs, that's an expression, right?
It was really pretty beautiful for an apartment complex swimming pool. There were 2 levels with a little waterfall thing connecting them. The lights illuminating the concrete walkways around the water gave the silent, untouched surface of the pool an ethereal sort of quality. Without any more preamble, he wanted to make the most of his bravery while he still had it. Crowley brought his hands to the hem of his borrowed jelly shirt.
This okay, Angel?
And there was a blush, even in the darkness, and a swallow, and then a nod. Crowley nodded back and pulled the shirt over his head.
Oh, you're rather lovely.
Yuck.
Crowley replied. You knew he would, hopping out of his shoes and peeling away his jeans before he lost his nerve. So there he stood, clad only in boxer briefs and moonlight, looking straight ahead at a man he'd known for a day and some change. And I wish I could explain the next bit. Really, I do. They stared at one another, and Aziraphale read some sort of determination in Crowley's eyes that made him want to be as staring himself. Aziraphale's undressing went more slowly than Crowley's had, but only because Aziraphale couldn't tear his eyes away from Crowley.
We are doing this. We are going to break a rule together, and it will be a thing that will have always happened. I welcome you into my story, as you have welcomed me into yours. Stay, please.
Aziraphale shivered a little, and Crowley stepped forward to wrap his arms around him. Aziraphale let himself be held. Let someone beautiful take their time being soft and unhurried with him.
You don't ever have to tell me another animal fact again. I promise.
Aziraphale believed him, which is the bravest thing of all.
My caring for you is non-transactional. Let me watch you eat cake in total silence. It's fine. It's glorious, even.
They pulled apart and went to the prickly ground at the edge of the pool. And I think the moon herself was alert and watching and protecting them as they carefully, on the count of 3, slipped into the cool water. And they held their breaths for as long as they could, regarding the other one for a moment in his sea creature form, all billowing hair and blurred edges. And Crowley, never having considered himself one for poetry before now, sincerely wondered what it would be like to retreat to the bottom of the sea with this gorgeous golden merperson before him, to bring him shells and stories from the sand. When they surfaced for air, it was with a laugh for each of them, at the absurdity of being two grown, near strangers breaking into a private pool at midnight, at their odd origin story, at the joy and wonder of what might happen next. If I may, but also, is there anything sexier than a nighttime pool that you shouldn't be at? Aziraphale swam forward, closing the distance between the two of them, and let his siren ancestors take over his actions, his beating heart. He wrapped his legs around Crowley's waist and brought his hands up to that sharp, devastating face, tilting it exactly as he wanted, bringing their lips together. Crowley wrapped his long arms around Aziraphale's waist and kissed him like buried treasure.
I can't believe I found you.
Epilogue, I think. And there would be more time spent at the aquarium together in the future. Aziraphale had barely discussed the little cow-nose race after all. And I think Crowley was inspired to return to his, pardon me, gardening roots. And I think it was like all these stories, really. I think they inspired each other and made each other better. And we'll keep putting them in these places, aquariums and coffee shops and wherever we like, because this is a collective love song to which none of us knew the words when we got started, and yet here we still are, pulling them from our hearts like star stuff. It is an honor to share this language with you. Make them kiss wherever damn well you please. This story is over, but there are so many more, and what a joy that is to consider. But he looks in my eyes and makes me realize, and he says, "Don't worry, baby, don't worry, baby, don't worry, baby. Everything will turn out all right." I really think it will. The end.